to me, Eddie. You're smarter than this. This isn't you, it's the suit. I've been behind it. I know what it's doing to you. Let me help you before you do something you're going to regret. I gotta get Eddie off. No! Yeah! I have to get loose. I have to stop him. I've been sitting on my tush all day. Time for a little workout. Let's start with some wall crawling. Just a little jump up here, jump, and then jump again. Sure, it breaks the laws of physics, but so do most things I do. Web zipping is great for low buildings like these. These buildings are tall enough to web swing off of pretty easily. I'll go easy on you this time, Herman. I'll only use my webs.
I'll kill you!
I need to web these guys when I knock them down, or they'll just keep getting back up. You okay?
Get away from me, you freak!
It's that kind of quality human interaction that makes it all worthwhile. Oh, yippee! More of you! I need to get home. Ready, set, go! Oh, man! I swear, this whole city would fall apart if it wasn't for me.
It's my bike you smashed this place up with. What are you supposed to be, anyway? I'm the best at what I do. And what that is ain't pretty at all. See these claws? Unbreakable. You, bet not. Bad idea, bub. Bub, you have no idea how big a mistake you just made.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
Who do you think you are,
Somebody help
Spunky?
me! Can I have an autograph? For my kid.
Any of you know where I can save money on my car insurance?
Breaking news from...
Oh, my legs!
Hang on!
Go! Help! Help!
I just need to pick him up and move him to
I don't wanna
safety.
die!
Easy stuff.
Wow. Thanks,
You're
man.
stealing from me. This is my store.
I need to get that TV off that poor guy. He's getting crushed.
Oh, great. Now you're going to steal my stuff.
Well, actually, I was saving your life. I think the words you're looking for were, thank you?
Hurry up before the cops get here.
What? I don't count?
Spider-Man!
Aw, you do know me. I feel all warm and fuzzy now. Maybe I'm worried about nothing. Maybe it's just the worst parking garage attendant ever. There's a woman trapped under that car. Well, that's no good at all.
Help us! Hey, help! Oh, no!
I don't get that car out of there quick. Everybody out! Oh no, he's about to fall. I guess there's no such thing as a slow day when you're a big-time superhero. Now that's a spicy meatball. How about a guy dressed up like a teddy bear who gives hugs? How about that, huh? Just once. A huggy bear instead of a big rhino or a scorpion. Wet cement. Not to worry. This is a job for friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Maybe if I jump on his back and beat on him.
I will destroy you!
Repeatedly punching that hole in his back might be a good idea.
I will destroy you!
Jumanji! That hole in his back, I bet I can finally shut this guy down. Sparks are gone. Oh? All clear. All right, feet still attached. Looks safe to get in there. My face and everything below it hurts. Can you practice falling down, and I'll be right over there to help. Now that's a spicy meatball. The electricity on his back is gone. Oh man, I'm gonna be late again. My brother's wrong about What the hell do you think you're doing? My head is killing me. What's going on? No! Eddie! No! Yeah! No! I shall wash, but I shall never be clean again. I'm so Ow!
This guy's all.
This is a bad game.
Come on! Let's see how you like this! Ooh, getting close! Take it! Yeah, not bad! Get it in gear! Eat it! Going up! What do you know? The freak can play keep up! Ah, that freaking hurt! First floor coming up. You gotta keep up, boys. What do you know? The freak can play keep up. Yeah, not bad. You're gonna die, Brock. Die! Ooh, getting close. Oh, you're gonna pay for that. Come on, pick up the pace. Moving on up. Let's see how you like this. I thought this was a chase, not a freaking walk in the park. What do you know? The freak can play keep up. Next stop, ground floor. Bam! I thought this was a chase, not a freaking walk in the park. You gotta keep up, boy. Oh, you're gonna pay for that. Ooh, getting close. Get it in gear. gonna die, Brock! Die! You're gonna die, you little... You're gonna pay for that! I've waited for this day for so long! That freaking hurt! That freaking hurt! Die! 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 Oh, you're gonna pay for that! You stupid! You're gonna pay for that! What the hell do you think you're doing?
So much.
Help me, Spider-Man!
It would be so nice to just once bump into someone, say hi, and them not try to blow me up. Listen, Alstabi, I don't know what your deal is, but now I'm talking to myself. Hey, be honest. Do you think this costume makes my butt look fat?
Ooh, pretty lights.
Hang on tight. Not that tight. All right, you flying pile of repressed. Again with the flying. Let me guess. I'm gonna get near you, and then you're gonna fly away. Hey, you hungry? How about after we're done, we swing by and grab some breakfast or something? I was the Hulk, this would be so over with by now.
It's the aliens.
Oh no. Hold on, I've got you.
Oh my, thank you.
You get someplace safe, okay? You okay in there? You don't like breakfast, we can do brunch. You know, I'm beginning to take this personally. Any different colors? The pink is a little girly. Whoa! Wow, you have the whole crazy supervillain upgrade package. Where?
Thanks, bro. I can kick your ass good and proper now. Come on, Brock. Is that all you have?
Go crossing baseline Delta. It's so fast! Target going to ground. Tango on ground. Rocket ground level. Tango crossing baseline Epsilon. Rocket ground level. There's Brock! There he is! There's Brock! Tango on rooftop! Tango crossing baseline Iowa. Started on rooftop. Street level. Tango crossing baseline Iowa. 4x4, he's on your plane. 4x4, he's on your plane. Tango crossing baseline Lambda. Kill it! Tango crossing baseline Omicron. Target is in 4x480. Tango at 3. Tango crossing baseline Sigma. Tango going high. So fast! Eyes down! Tango crossing baseline high. There he is! Right sighted at 0 level. Right, God, look at him move! There it is! Right, God, look at him move! Right, God, look at him move! Target is in 4x480. Target at 3 level. 3 level. There's Brock. Target high. Brock on the roof. Target high. Ground crew, heads up! Target is on ground floor. Tango crossing baseline Kappa. Target low. Street level. Target is on ground floor. Rock sighted at 0 level. Get it! Tango crossing baseline Iota. Tango crossing baseline Zeta. Tango crossing baseline Epsilon. Contact! don't care what they say. You rock.
Is this Yeah, this is exactly what I need in my life right now. Then again, it has been almost 2 hours since I last feared for my life. Please stop doing that! You big nudnik! Only you can prevent Spider-Man fires. Come on! Those people are gonna be crushed if I don't get them out of there. I don't get it. What's going on? Why is he doing this? Up high, down low, too slow. You okay in there?
Sear the flesh from your bones.
Hot tamale. You're getting irritated. Now look, you'll get your butt kicked by a 15-year-old kid. Thanks, but I had a fireball for lunch. Whoa, hot one. I'm just gonna keep hitting you until you give up. Whoa, hot one. You big nudnik. Hey, I can punch you all day long. This needs I am gonna smack the brain right off you. Up high, down low, too slow. What did the five fingers say to the face? Slap! How much harder do I need to hit you? Only you can prevent Spider-Man fires. Red means stop. Zabel's orders. Take Parker with minimal injury.
Get down from there.
Go! Subdue Parker! low wattage. Take Parker alive.
We need to contain him now.
We need Parker alive.
Subdue Parker. Take him alive. I can barely hold on.
Hang on! I'll help you!
First you try to kill me, now you're helping me?
I've been hired to capture you, not to kill innocent people.
Aw, you're crazy with a heart of gold. Hang on, I'll get you down.
Parker, lift the car and help me get these people out.
Thanks, kid.
Move quick.
I'm moving as fast as I can.
Crazy silver hottie threatened my family. I should let Eddie eat her. He'd be doing me a favor. But then I'd feel guilty about that too, because clearly I don't have enough things to feel guilty about. So now here I am, trying to save the crazy woman. If my life were any more stupid, it would be on network TV. Those darts have made my brain all swimmy. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. knock it off. Oh yeah, that's what we need. More fire.